Good afternoon. Dave Strider here, candidate for Senate here in the state of Washington. And I was technical issues. This is the first time I've gone Google Live stream. And so it's a little bit new to me. I hope that the feed is getting out there to you. It'll also be being recorded for rebroadcast. There's a Q&A period here. I tried to get a moderator to come on live, but there's just some things you can't teach this old dog. So anyway, let's get to what's going on. Right now in Louisiana, there is a terrible episode of water protectors trying to stop a pipeline that's going above the water but across the water or under the water. It doesn't make any difference. It's an oil pipeline. And that close in a swampland, supposedly a protected area environmentally. I mean, a pipeline busts there. Getting trucks to it is not going to be an easy thing. It's going to be a waterborne operation. How fast can you react? And that's what these people are fighting right now, is to stop that from going through. I listened to a story, a testimony of a woman there who was at home in her house, and suddenly she heard screaming and hollering outside her. Where's my baby? Help me find my baby. And her story, it's compelling. It's going to be a link that I share here as soon as I can. If you have that link, please share it. She went out into her yard to help this woman find it. The grass was tall, etc. And she was looking, and then suddenly she got shoved from behind. There were two individuals that pushed her down inside the ground. Her testimony said it felt like she was being attacked by police. I don't mean to laugh there, but I mean, what is going on here? I don't think it was perhaps police, maybe some of the mercenaries who seem to accompany every one of these pipelines. In Standing Rock, the veterans massed, 5,000 veterans at Standing Rock. Well, if I can arrange transportation to get there, I will go. I will protest with them. I have a primary that's coming up here soon, and I want to be here for the people of Washington, but I also feel that if I have the opportunity to go to Louisiana, I would stand with the water protectors. I would also, at this time, invite all veterans who participated in the Standing Rock effort, find out more about what's happening in Louisiana, and let's do the same thing. Jungle training, swamp training, a benefit. I guess they have trouble with snakes and alligators and other nasty critters. So as in Standing Rock, we don't bring weapons with us, but at the same time, we can bring tools to help us accomplish the mission, and that is latrines, whatever. Okay. So I guess this is just a call out to all the veterans here. We took an oath, people, and we've got people that are being attacked by their own government and possibly also being attacked by mercenaries. This is a republic, not an empire. Okay? Watch the video that I'm going to post here. I'm going to try to pull that cue up and then post it on here. All right? Just give me a second, because I'm new at this stuff here. And this here is a newspaper article. I'm going to paste in here for us. But this is a newspaper article from down there. All right. So if you get a chance, click on that link there, and it will tell you what's going on, what's been going on. Okay, it's not the whole story, but it'll tell you what's going on. Also, I'm trying to get the one where it talks about the video and stuff from the actual person who is a water protector. Um, and here, I found it. This is what happens, if you have a moderator, somebody to help you, you can get those things real quick. Um, this is the video of the actual thing that is incited people to take on, pick up your voices and get there, help them. They need water, and they'll probably need first aid supplies. They are battling, big reptiles like crocodile, alligator. However close they're close to the sea, they'll probably get some crocs. But uh, alligators and snakes down there, they got rattlesnakes and moccasins and copperheads. So they need some help in that as well. Now I'm going. This is the live video which started this whole thing. Now I'm not trying to be an alarmist or anything like that, but this is what's happening in our nation all over. While everyone else is getting us distracted on doing other things, what happens? We get this right here. We are not a nation of any sort if we do not have fresh water. When these people come in and they want to use hydrogen plants and pipe in the fracking gas and oil and whatever, when they want to do that, uh, they are endangering the environment if that stuff fails. I've offered suggestions. Freshwater makers, desalination plants along our coastal regions to take care of industry and their needs. At the same time, it would be purifying the waterways as well. Um, we'd be able to gather some of those other toxic things that are coming out. Now, you say, well, what about water? Well, water is H2O. Okay, so if we're still using hydrogen fueled vehicles or machinery, this is what we have. We can separate the water that we cleaned out of the bay or the inlet or along another area. What do? We get two products. And these plants are self sustaining all by themselves. They produce their own energy. Okay? Let's be real, people. Let's face the future. Let's face the future and let's get rid of the clouds of smoke. Let's get rid of chemtrails and stuff like this and weather alterations. If we could get the planet back to a normal keel and start using our alternative methods to fuel our needs for electricity and power and et cetera, et cetera. Start rethinking the way we want to approach. Oil was a fast fix to get us to where we are today. Now, let's take what oil gave us and save the oil because we may need it to get off this rock. And if it means shipping a 1% into outer space on a colony mission, so be it. But we need to stop burning petrol fuels. And we have the resources to do what? To bring in alternative methods to provide our power. Okay? Plain and simple. The world is moving to an all electric system, and we need to make sure that we do our part to help it. Now, a couple of years ago, I bought a hybrid gasoline electric. The other day, I got 49.2 miles per gallon, and that was in suburban city driving. 49, almost 50 miles per gallon in a Kia Optima. Now, yes, I paid more for it, but if you see one of those electric cars, okay, like the Optima out there that I just mentioned, pick it up. If it's used, you should get a pretty good price. They handle good. Okay, I drove mine across country. got under 20,000 miles on it. It works good. Let's start thinking about the future, people. No, that's not an endorsement for a particular automobile. That's a challenge for all automobiles to meet my specifications. My specifications means no emissions out there. Okay, all electric would be fantastic, and we've got the technology to make it so that the electric car does not have to be plugged in. Come on, people, let's use our brains. Back to the water protectors. Remember Standing Rock? My media staff has put together another great video, short, under 3 minutes, to talk about the things that we have been facing now in the last, well, forever. Attacks on First People and going through tribal lands is not an issue for eminent domain. That is sovereign nation territory. That is sacred land. Therefore, we need to respect it. We have a treaty that's signed by our Congress. There's been many changes to those treaties, and it's not at the benefit of our first brothers and sisters. Okay? We won. They lost. Why can't we have compassion and respect for those valiant warriors of that time? Why can't we respect that? You want respect from the Civil War people. Why can't we expect that from the warriors who fought bravely and those who were absolutely massacred by our army? I mean, women and children and old men. Our history is not as pretty as people wanted to believe it is. We have to face it. We have to face it and make sure that from what we just learned is not repeated in our future, because in the future we may not have a chance to reconcile. You have to think about what I started out in my youth as far as weapons of destruction. There were people, not me, but there were guys who would drive their pickup trucks to school and they'd have their rifles in the back window and stuff. I don't know if they locked their car up, but car alarms were not, we didn't have them then when I was going to school. And my point to this here is our country has drifted really far into a violent state. A violent state. And we need to change that. We need to make sure that we have the right education for our people. But before we could even start on anything like that, we got to make sure that our water is protected. And we got young men and women and older folks too, probably like me, out there on the front lines trying to protesting a pipeline going through for oil or fracking or gas or whatever. It breaks in the waterways. It's destroyed the waterways. There'll be no recovering it for, at least a century. I mean, that's with total cleanup and letting the land clean itself, doing everything that we've got to clean up that place. My God, it'll be 100 years trying to clean up that mess. Those people are risking life and limb, and some of them are getting attacked. Like I mentioned earlier, that woman who got attacked by people outside her home when she called out to help somebody. Now, I got a phone call, but we're going to keep it live still, okay? This is Dave. Hello? Spam on my chronic pain. My chronic pain right now is what's happening to us here in this country. We got people that are making America go away. That's right, MAGA. We have people in this nation right now that are making America go away. That's not what we signed up for, folks, when we took the oath to protect and defend. We stood up for something. I enlisted in the Marine Corps. We stood up for something that was beyond ourselves. We stood up for someone we didn't even know. We stood up for the land of our forefathers and the land of our children. That's what we stood up for. Only to come to find out that millionaires were making a mint off of every operation that was held or conducted by military personnel ever since the Korean War, and probably even before. FDR tried to put a cap on it a lot. Some of the big name people that you probably would recognize, I'm not going to mention them. You do your own research, okay? But I will tell you that this nation has been influenced by billionaires, millionaires. Back then it was millionaires and billionaires if you were lucky. Large corporation, railways, oil companies, still the same today. And we're letting them rule and dictate to us exactly what is going to happen to this country. I got a black shirt on today. And that black shirt is my way of saying to you, it's not all hunky dory, America. This is to remember those who fell, standing up for what was right. In peaceful, protests that were held across this nation. Civil rights leaders who were assassinated. Hopefuls in government assassinated, executed in plain view. We used to have a people that were lone wolves, exactly, back then. But now it's the whole damn countryside acting crazy. People, we are one nation, not a nation of 25% or 18%. A nation of all of us. All of us. We can have different points of view, but when it comes to the welfare of this nation and the land that we live on, that means we have fresh water. That means we stop the fracking. That means we stop the oil drilling. We put it down only as using it for transition. No more new wells drilled. Knowing where they're going to be drilled is one thing. Knowing that they're drilled is another. We keep it in the ground until we need it. And if we know where new wells are at, we'll be able to tap into that very easy. So let's use our scientific knowledge and our experience and start closing down these wells. Let's create a future for our nation. Let's protect our nation's resources. If our nation is going to act like an empire, they're doing it rather foolishly because they are depleting our resources. And then what happens? We need to go further to bring back. That is a chance of having supply lines severed. Not good military strategy, dummies. Come on. America, we need to protect our water. And we have individuals and we have groups and we have first people out there protecting those rights for water. Now, I know that not everyone can be out there, but if you can, especially if you're a veteran, okay? If you're a veteran, tell another veteran. On the campaign page that I have, Dave Strider for U.S. Senate, part of the precepts that I have is a clean environment, no fracking, moving away from petro fuel and into more of alternatives, respecting treaties that we have, respecting the individual. One nation, okay? One nation. We don't have to be under God because that wasn't added until we got into a toughie with the communists. We had to make sure that we were God-fearing, God doesn't tell us to walk that way. Okay, just for your information, those who like to thump the Bible and say we need God in our nation, then have God inside your heart. You don't need to broadcast it. Live and walk the way he would ask and asked to do. Okay, remember that? Probably not. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say about it. Okay, you believe what you want to believe, but do not force your faith on me if you're talking God and Jesus Christ. Wrong person. Anyway, the subject line right now on this live stream. Now, I have no idea how long this is going on, but we're going to go until we start finding some information in regards to it. Hoping that there is some response to this. The Q&A will always be open, but the live stream itself will be a rebroadcast or put into a loop. Okay? And you've gotten used to not hearing me come up on the afternoon hour. And I saw this post today. I checked out, and it was not good. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. That's part of what I said, protecting the water protectors, protecting the environment. Okay? We're hoping that we're going to get an outpour like we did from the veterans community to muster down there and help those people like Sandy Rock was helped. Okay? Water protectors. I drink this bottle of water because it was protected, possibly by some water protectors. People making sure that it was clean water. You don't necessarily have to be at each protest site, but in the course of your life, if you are involved in making sure public gets fresh water and water for sale, however, that is the purest it can be, that's water protector. Thank you. Especially when it comes to reporting that crap. Those microbeads of plastic, that's spooky. I guess going back to the 60s when everybody was termed, oh man, you're just too plastic. Plastic was a way of saying you're phony. Materialistic, plastic, moldable. You could be molded into whatever anybody wanted you to be, except yourself. Plastic. But I'm Dave Strider. I'm a candidate for U.S. Senate. Yes, I have mentioned my campaign and how I'm making sure that it gets out on my campaign page. It's a position that I took in the voter's guide about the environment. I think I was listed first. So it's not like I'm doing anything. These people down there, you have to understand, they need help. Okay? I can't make it there. If somebody wants to provide a way for me to get there and back, thank you. Thank you. Because I can't be hung up down there. Okay? I can't be hung up. Reason being, my wife is out of the country. I have to be here when she comes home. I can't be in no Louisiana jail. Okay? I'm no good for you there. I don't like people pushing me. I mean, physically pushing me. I get upset. I'm sorry. I'm not a nonviolent person. I joined the Marine Corps because of bullies, so that I could knock them down. So you understand why I really don't like going to some place where I know that could happen. Okay? I don't have the control. I'm 65 years old and I'm protesting peacefully, and you decide you're going to hit me with your club. No, you can't do that to me. I'll rip your head off and shit down your neck. Sorry, Liz. Sorry. Oh, sorry. That's what I do. That's what Marines do. If you really take us off, we have no problem doing that. We'd rather not, but it changes your appearance really good. pretty much for the better. But we got a lot of stuff going on. We can't we can't let things get out of control. We have to be aware. We have to be knowledgeable. And right now, I've noticed in this primary election, it's taking a lot for a true message to get out. Oh, don't get me wrong, there's lots of outlets and everything. But at the same time, don't get into don't get into a party situation. Vote blue, vote red, no matter who. Okay? Check out the candidates. See what they're saying. And then if you can, go back and research their entire campaign like you can mine. Okay? It's pretty easy. It's an open book. We got tons of videos, and I think in most cases the quick Q&A was also uh, kept in it. But that's for me. Okay, I can't say that about others. I don't have archives. Everything's active, ready, rock and roll, plain and simple. You want your answer? You want it now? Okay, I'm fully aware of it because I can be the same way. All right. Um, I have a really good volunteer staff, and we're planning on going to the general election, and we plan on going to Washington, D.C. to represent you. It's not being cocky or anything, okay? But if you compare us, what's in print, on the position of my platforms, and there are many, but they all intertwine into each other. It's important. It's important that you read and compare. I touch on many things, and that's not all of them that really are a concern to us here in Washington State, and as well as the nation. You know, my friends that are following me who are down in the southeastern portion of the United States, from the Atlantic coast through Kentucky to the Mississippi. Um, yeah, folks, see what you can do to help those people down there in Louisiana. Okay, I've provided links for what's going on and how to get in touch with people, hopefully. Um, do that, okay? It's very important. I mean, it was freezing temperatures at Standing Rock. Now, yes, I know it's hot there now, but hey, the hurricane season's coming up. And an oil pipeline on a high tidal surge, or runaway barges damaging a pipeline. Oh, my goodness. So much for the seafood in that area of the country, right? That's what we're facing, America. That's what we're facing, Washington. People want to drill here in the Cascadia where there's a fault line already. And if anybody's following the history of fracking, increased earthquakes in Oklahoma area where fracking was being done. That is also part of the San Madras fault line, which when it erupted back in the 1800s, the Mississippi River flowed backwards. Okay. Uh, so we got to stop the fracking. You see how important it is. And out here on the Pacific Northwest, we don't need to be doing that. California and Oregon don't need to be doing that either when there's so many other alternatives available. And I go back to repeating desalination plants that go on, across every waterway. Not only does it create fresh water, but it also captures chemicals, etc., byproducts that can be sorted out. Um, in the arena of fuel, no pipelines going in, just pipelines going out to the ships. So much better. And that's a business that the independent company owns for the seed people, the cargoes, whatever. You see, they have a business right there on the water, and what they're doing is their exhaust is oxygen. Their exhaust is oxygen, and they're cleaning up the inlets, the rivers. Yeah, pretty good idea, huh? It's their own company. They sell the product, period. It could be a benefit to a local area. Okay. The railhead that goes into these ports could be used instead for other types of commercial traffic and not petroleum. I mean, I understand that there will be a need for uh, petroleum products to be refined. I understand that. I mean, where there's a will to work something out, there is an answer. Okay. So I don't want to, because I'm not familiar with the logistics portion of that process. I just know that the process occurs. And in order for me to make a better judgment, I need to make sure that I'm informed on that particular issue as far as the logistics and storage, et cetera, everything. Okay. But we're trying to protect the water. Without water, water is a strategic asset as a nation. Remember back in the days of old, castles along the rivers or high on the mountaintop or whatever. How did they get the castle to surrender if it did? That was to do what? That's right. It got them to do, okay. I don't know that I can share this. Let me see if I can share this. Uh, anyway, I can't see that I can share it. All right. I'm having some technical issues, and I've got contacted by my staff. We'll be back later with any updates that I have. But meanwhile, please check out the water protectors down there in Louisiana. Some of them are facing incarceration if they haven't already. One woman who is a spokesperson of the video that I shared here on the site during the live feed uh, was assaulted outside her home. And the story continues. I mean, please check in. We'll be checking back in with an update. Okay, thank you.